2021 NYU School of Law graduation celebration. Please join me in welcoming Trevor Morrison, Dean of New York University School of Law.
Welcome to the NYU class of 2021 and to all of the family, friends, and colleagues who are joining to celebrate your great achievement today. We are all so proud of this graduating class and everything you have accomplished. As with the classes that came before you, you engaged deeply with the law school. You have spent countless hours studying hard. You have served in clinics, worked on journals, led student groups of all kinds, and made lifelong connections. You've not only learned legal doctrine, you have also developed solutions to real-world problems, served those in need, and even helped to lead the law school itself. Traditionally, Convocation is the occasion to celebrate each of those achievements. But today I am moved to honor you, the class of 2021, for achievements far more extraordinary than anything we may have expected of you, or you may have expected of yourselves when you first joined this community. You have completed your NYU law education in a state of emergency, a time defined by sustained and compounding crises. The COVID-19 pandemic intersects with national and international economic dislocation, with an urgent environmental crisis, and with a renewed concern for racial injustice in its many forms, including continued police violence against Black people in particular, and the rise in anti-Asian hate crimes. For each of us, this time has brought great challenge. And for far too many, in unequal measure, it has brought tragedy, grief, fear, and pain. Yet as these crises unfolded around you, you did not build a wall around yourselves. Instead, you showed up for one another and for your communities. You led with passion, volunteering for election work and poll monitoring, fighting to advance the interests of incarcerated people, people experiencing homelessness, and others hardest hit by the virus, and advocating for increased accessibility to healthcare and democratic representation in your community. You led with resilience, adapting swiftly to a remote reality, improvising community building events, and innovating to make the most out of what was possible. You led with empathy, donating to each other through our COVID Relief Fund, acting as care partners to fellow students in isolation and quarantine, organizing blood and food drives, and launching the Affirmation Project, sharing notes and outlines, and mentoring the 1Ls and 2Ls at the law school who were struggling to find their way without traditional on-campus community life. And you led with courage, peacefully protesting last summer, positioning yourselves on the front lines to stand against injustice, even though so many of you were simultaneously coping with personal and family difficulties and loss on account of the pandemic. In all of this, you have inspired us. You have inspired me, but there is more work to do. It is because of your demonstrated passion, resilience, empathy, and courage in this most difficult year that I have great confidence that you are up to the task of addressing another emergency that as members of the legal profession we share in common. Your time in law school has been marked by the justified concern that our democracy is in grave danger. It has not yet been 5 months since we watched in horror as an angry mob stormed our nation's capital, determined to disrupt the counting of electoral college votes and a peaceful transfer of power. Sadly, the concerted attack on our democracy began long before January 6th. And painfully, shamefully, lawyers have played a central role. They did this by attacking the integrity of our electoral processes and institutions without evidence, by perpetrating outrageously false claims, and by violating the public trust. In short, by telling lies. At the heart of addressing this emergency are critical questions. What does it mean to behave honorably in the law? And as lawyers, what is our obligation not only to justice, but to truth? The legal profession needs a recommitment to these values. Having said that, I think it is also important to acknowledge the delicate balance, even tension in the law between seeking truth and advocating for one's client, especially in the context of the adversarial system of litigation. Lawyers play roles in a process that we certainly hope will uncover truth in the course of resolving disputes. But as you all know from your studies, the law contains myriad rules and structures that are designed to protect other fundamental values like fairness, equality, and the presumption of innocence, which may or may not advance the search for truth in all cases and in all contexts. And individual lawyers themselves are sometimes required to strike difficult balances. Responsible advocacy for a particular client or issue can sometimes mean that we do not disclose everything we know. We must keep our clients' confidences, but we must not knowingly misrepresent. We must observe the difference between a factual claim and a legal argument. Every lawyer standing at the intersection of these obligations must make hard calls. Yet the difficulty of those calls does not lessen our obligation to the truth, nor should it cause us to abandon our shared understanding that without truth, there can be no durable justice. With you as soon-to-be members of the legal profession, I am hopeful. Ours is a special profession, a noble profession, a profession that endows us with the tools to confront and to redress inequity and injustice. In order to repair what has been broken, including breaches of trust, we must call upon our strengths, be prepared to make bold changes, and look to role models who have led with honor. Early in my own career, I had the great opportunity to serve as a law clerk for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was an immensely powerful role model for me, and she still is. One of the lessons I learned from Justice Ginsburg informs my thinking about how to serve honorably in the law. It's about how to treat people and points of view with which we disagree. My co-clerks and I learned early on in our time with the Justice about the importance of presenting opposing arguments in their strongest possible light. Justice Ginsburg stressed to us that before critiquing an opposing argument, we had to present the very best version of it and to consider it on those terms. From there, she taught us to home in on the precise aspects of the argument that we found lacking, always striving to avoid hyperbole in our criticism. I think Justice Ginsburg's insistence on engaging with the very best version of the arguments with which she disagreed went to the core of how she viewed her role as a justice. She did not see opposing arguments as mere annoyances to be swatted away. Instead, she viewed them as expressions of serious ideas that needed to be grappled with if the court was to operate as the rational, deliberative body it is designed to be. There is a lesson here for all of us. Today, public discussion of important issues of law and policy rarely features good faith engagement with the best versions of competing arguments. Instead, too often, lawyers serving in prominent roles in the public and private sectors seem inclined to seek cheap rhetorical points by caricaturing and mocking ideas they don't like, or by critiquing them on the basis of claims that they know are simply not true. This breeds a cynicism that is corrosive of our public institutions and of the legal profession. In her work, Justice Ginsburg provided a model of how to do better. Now, you each have an opportunity not only to find role models for your work, but to become a positive role model for those around you. You have the capacity to lead the profession and the world in a more honorable, ethical, and equitable direction. It's a big task, but you are up to it. This year has been one of crisis, from the global to the deeply personal. Still, perhaps it is against that darkness that hope's glimmers are most easily seen. And today is a day of hope. NYU class of 2021, congratulations. We are so proud of you for all you have weathered and all you have achieved. and we are eager with anticipation to see what you will do next.
Thank you, Dean Morrison. Now, please welcome David Tanner, Chairman, New York University School of Law Foundation and Class of 1984.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I congratulate all of you, graduates, family, and friends, on this happy and momentous occasion. Along with the outstanding faculty who mentored you along the way, we honor you and we are enormously proud of your achievements. Today, many of you become lawyers, and others among you take a huge step forward in your careers by receiving an additional graduate degree in law. As we celebrate your accomplishments, you can be certain that the law school has challenged you not only to become the best lawyer at the table or in the courtroom or the boardroom, but to develop into the outstanding leaders our greater society so desperately needs. In this time of profound divisions in our country and our world, our collective thoughts on leadership may have become marked by cynicism and broken trust. However, it is our shared obligation to repair what is broken, to be the leaders our communities need. And in taking up this responsibility, we can draw inspiration from the extraordinary examples set by so many NYU Law alumni who have come before you. Here are just a few examples. NYU Law alumni are founders of groundbreaking advocacy groups such as the Innocence Project, the Coalition for the Homeless, and Lawyers for Children, dedicated to protecting the rights of the most vulnerable among us. Our alumni are law firm leaders, including founding and managing partners and chief diversity and inclusion officers, the first Latina partner at a premier firm, and many of the first women to be elected to managing partner at their firms. NYU alumni serve as in-house counsel and executive leadership, determining policy at some of the most influential corporations, institutions, and organizations in our society, including Twitter, Lyft, PBS, the Legal Aid Society, the Natural Resources Defense Council, the Girl Scouts, and many colleges and universities. Our alumni are fierce advocates advancing civil and human rights, from the president of the NAACP and the senior counsel of the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund, to the co-founder and director of the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, and the co-director of NYU Law's own Immigrant Rights Clinic, and president of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. NYU Law alumni are Nobel Peace Prize winners, ambassadors, and representatives to the United Nations, and judges at the International Court of Justice. Our alumni are leaders at the highest levels of our government, including the Associate Attorney General for the United States and members of Congress, both the Senate and the House on both sides of the aisle. State Attorneys General and High Court Justices, from the first woman named to serve as New York's Chief Judge to the first Asian American appointed to the Oregon Supreme Court. NYU Law alumni are innovators and tech giants, founding platforms like Seamless and Triple Lift. Today, you too become NYU Law graduates, empowered by your education, your courage, and your passion to lead our society, even as the demands of leadership are evolving quickly. Knowing how much you have accomplished in a time of great uncertainty, I have faith that you have what it takes to lead us forward. With hope, admiration, and joy, I congratulate you, Class of 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner. We now welcome Andrew Hamilton, President, New York University.
Hello, I'm Andrew Hamilton, President of NYU, and I am thrilled to say a few words to the tremendous School of Law Class of 2021. Graduates, this day is about you, your achievements, your goals, your talents, and yes, your determination. This past year has brought many unexpected challenges and upheavals, but you have met them with resilience and creativity. And all the while, each of you has completed a rigorous course of study at one of the most prestigious law schools in the nation. Class of 2021, the qualities that led you to choose NYU Law are the same ones that will help you make a difference as alumni. You share with your fellow graduates critical thinking, integrity, and a commitment to truth and fairness. At the end of this historic year, I am proud to know that you will be using your talents to help make the world more equitable and more just. Class of 2021, on behalf of the entire NYU community, warmest congratulations to you all and our very, very best wishes.
Thank you, President Hamilton. Now we look back on some memorable law school moments with our graduating students.
I want to thank my family, Mommy, Papi, Edwin, Piro, Suli, for everything you guys have done for me, for how much you've believed in me. This is for you.
Thank you, Mom, for the unconditional love and support. Thank you, Dad, for your wisdom. Thank you for inspiring me to go to law school. And thank you to all the amazing lifelong friends that made my experience at NYU so special.
Thank you to Ima, Daddy, and Ellie for all your support in getting me to this point. It's not something I could have done without you. To all the administration at NYU, as well as my fellow classmates, thank you for making NYU the special place that it is. I feel lucky to be part of such a special institution.
I want to thank my family for supporting me through this law school journey. Definitely could not have done it without the help of my parents and my sister. Thanks so much for putting up with me finishing school at home this year.
I'd like to thank my mom, an NYU Law alumna, for being my role model, and my partner Elaine for supporting me.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to my mother. My mother has supported me through every step of this process, and without her, this moment would never have been possible. My mother is my role model. She is the woman in my life who has taught me what true strength looks like, to never give up, and to always believe in myself. This is for you, Mom. I love you.
I would like to thank my parents, Neil and Edie, and my brother, Kent, for providing moral and intellectual support throughout my time at NYU, my partner, Taylor, whom I met in the D'Agostino basement, who has made the Zoom School of Law so much more bearable, and all the other wonderful friends I have made while here. Congratulations, everyone.
Hi, Irene, it's Ellie.
And Rebecca.
And Izzy. We want to thank you for always being available to help out,
having the best stories to share,
and giving the absolute best life advice. Our law school experience would not have been the same without you. We love you.
Congratulations, everyone. I love my corporations Professor Jackson and Secure Transaction Professor Eric. I love you guys.
It really takes a village, and I'm so thankful for all the people in my corner, but especially my mom and dad. Thank you for your unconditional love and support the past 3 years, and thank you, Kenny, for listening to all my complaints.
I'd like to thank my incredible partner, Lewis, without whom I truly would not have made it through the last 3 years. From making sure I ate something other than Hot Pockets to listening to my rants about arcane doctrinal issues, you have supported me in every way, big and small, and I am forever grateful to you.
I would like to please thank my parents and brothers up in Johannesburg, my grandpa in Pretoria, Justice Turan at the Constitutional Court, the Fulbright program, the Weinfeld program, my professors and classmates at NYU, Belita Setole, and the New York University community at large for this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I want to thank my family here and in Colombia for their sacrifices that opened the doors for me to pursue this opportunity. I'm especially grateful to the Ambrize Scholarship and to Mr. and Mrs. Welters for not just the financial support, but the mentoring, networking opportunities, and community that the scholarship provides.
Thanks to my friends, family, and my lovely fiance Abigail for getting me to the finish line. Thank you to Professor Ed Rock for your endless support, encouragement, wisdom, and advice over the past several years. And last but not least, shout out Asbury Park. Thanks to my hometown hero, Preet Bharara, for showing me what an honorable lawyer looks like.
I would like to thank my friends and my boyfriend for supporting me throughout every facet of my life in these past 3 years, both in and out of law school. And more importantly, I would like to thank my family, my parents, for whom I literally would not be here if it were not for them and their bravery and sacrifices. Te quiero, mami, papi.
I would like to thank my mom and dad. Law school was our shared dream, and through your love and prayers and support, this dream is finally coming true. To Gabby, Andrew, and Alex, thank you for making law school feel like home.
Thank you to my parents for all of your support and for being the best roommates during the spring of 2L.
I want to thank my mom and my dad and all of my family and friends for getting me to this moment. I love you all so much.
I want to thank my family, my parents, and my sister. Without your support, I couldn't have made it through law school. And also my classmates, I'm so proud of us, and I feel so lucky to have been able to learn from you all.
I would like to thank my parents, my 엄마 and 아빠, for always supporting me. 사랑해.
We now welcome the student speaker for the JD class of 2021.
Good afternoon, fellow students, distinguished faculty and staff, family, and friends. I want to spend our time this afternoon grappling with a specific question. When do we become the advocates we will be tomorrow? Law school is strange. We enter NYU, hundreds of us are artificially divided into 1L sections, which become our defining quality in our first weeks of school. We enter classrooms after reading assignments ranging from 0 to approximately 500 pages, and we practice arguments, articulating and muddling through the rules until at the end of the semester, we sequester ourselves in front of 37 different Word documents and attempt to figure out some coherent way to understand these lectures that feel more like mini battles. We take exams, either too word limited, where we agonize over whether we should use which or that, or too unword limited, and we somehow channel some frantic monster demon inside of us to type thousands of words while whispering issue, rule, application, conclusion into a room masked by Amazon's best earplugs. While law school is already very strange, our law school experience was particularly so. Our 1L year brought the Kavanaugh hearings, in which we grappled with the Me Too movement and the politics of the supposedly apolitical Supreme Court. Our 2L year, we confronted racism and police killings. And our 3L year, the second impeachment and an election. And of course, the big C. Midway through our 2L year, the year we were finally finding our footing, our lives and our communities were threatened by a global pandemic. We were shaken. But in getting through it, we became the advocates we hoped that law school would make us. I saw affinity groups rise to the challenge of building community. Direct service groups and clinics provide meaningful services to those outside of our community most impacted. Student advocates ensure that their peers felt supported. And simultaneously, the faculty and administration that have made our experience here meaningful adapted and found creative ways to make school feel like school, even though we couldn't pass each other in the halls at the rate or density that we used to. I think we rose to the challenges of this year so aptly because we had other role models too. My mother is an immigrant to Canada from Africa who got a divorce, which was very uncommon in our small Muslim community, when I was just 4 and my younger sister was 2. She then enrolled in a PharmD program while working as a pharmacist full-time. I remember her falling asleep on her textbooks, and I imagine many of you did the same while caring for your own families this year. Eventually, she got her doctorate and moved with the 2 of us to the United States. My mom considers herself a scientist and always jokes that she doesn't know where I got the desire to become a lawyer. The truth is, my mother is the fiercest advocate I know. She advocated for herself and for us my whole life. Watching her navigate complex institutional, bureaucratic, social, and logistical structures in order to make my life better made me want to learn how to do the same. And I imagine that for my classmates, each of us has a story like that. A person who we saw advocate for us or with us, or maybe it had to be us ourselves, that inspired us to want to become a lawyer. And we found community, like-minded people striving to be effective advocates here at NYU. I am wistful for law school already, but I am so hopeful for our profession. I am wistful for the little moments that made this experience sweet despite its rigor. The whispered giggles on the upper left side of the library, my favorite spot. The extra cup of third rail coffee brought by a friend waiting for you on your side of the too close desk space of a Vanderbilt classroom. The moments on Zoom where we logged on early and waited for the professor while attempting 96-person small talk. The help with carrying press suits up the spiral stairs. Webinar musicals. The slamming of locker doors. The cracking spines of books in tandem. And I am hopeful for our new journeys. I am hopeful despite being in a time when people are questioning whether our institutions, our law, and our structures of government are necessary, right, and useful. I am hopeful because we are now lawyers trained in crisis. There is no better group able to rise to the challenges of making law work for the people who need it. Though this past year especially brought moments of fear, confusion, and hopelessness, and I am not just talking about my federal courts final, it also brought equal responses in which our community rose to the challenges. And the challenges were many: defending democracy, protecting our most vulnerable, preserving rights while protecting our communities. So when do we become advocates? My mother is a scientist, but it was not her ability to understand what's in the vaccine that made her an apt navigator of the challenges of this year. It was her grit, her resilience, her unrelenting advocacy for herself and for us. It's those tools born from crisis that we sharpened while students at NYU Law, that will stay with us forever. We are young-ish. We will face more crises together. But we need not be afraid. We can find our way through them. I can't wait to return to the courtyard year after year and see how all of us leverage those tools we learned for good. Because the world could use some good.
Thank you. We now welcome the student speaker for the LLM class of 2021.
Thank you. To the class of 2021, Dean Morrison, our professors, distinguished guests, family, and friends. Today, we gather to celebrate a remarkable group, on whose behalf it is an honor to make this speech. The LLM class of 2021, particularly those of us who started in the fall semester, share an intrepid spirit and tenacity that have carried us through an extremely challenging year. We stepped into the unknown this year. As prepared as we were for the unusual nature of our studies, we could not predict the unique vicissitudes of life we would face. Many of us spent the majority of 2020 staring out of our windows, longing for freedom, distraction, a sense of our place in a world which stopped making sense. Thankfully, starting classes in August brought new windows of perspective on that world. A glorious aspect of the NYU LLM is the diversity and internationality of our class group, which was even more apparent than usual this year, because each of us brought our home life to class. Every day, I could stop staring out of my own window and look in through 20 tiny Zoom windows, filled with evidence of the lives led by my classmates. I've seen one classmate and friend studying by candlelight due to planned power outages in Cape Town. Another living near nocturnally to participate in classes on New York time from Japan. I've seen cups of tea and snacks passed on camera from loving partners, roommates, and family members. The people who have supported us in so many unspoken ways. In Zoom backgrounds, I've seen carefully curated bookshelves and posters, flags and maps of home. This is how we got to know each other this year. Slowly at first, piecing together our understanding of each other from the evidence offered on screen, eventually forming global friendships which will last a lifetime. Many of us in the class of 2021 relied on our NYU life as an escape from the existential terror of living through a global pandemic, from unrest and hostility in our home countries. Many of us carried to class the deeply felt exhaustion born of witnessing sustained individual and institutional violence against people of colour, whether we felt the effects of that violence personally or as allies. The Chauvin trial victory of a few weeks ago was a tiny release from that exhaustion, a respite, but not a reprieve, as Dean Morrison wrote to us on that day. During the course of our LLM year, injustice against minority communities has been a global constant. Every day, another life senselessly taken. Every day, a fresh reason to take to the streets in fury and overwhelming sadness. Many of us have taken to the streets. But we also persisted with our studies. We brought issues of social, national, and global justice to our classes. We learned how to become better advocates for those who are persistently marginalized and silenced, and how to care for ourselves through the vicarious trauma of frontline legal work. We channeled our rage by planning for change, and throughout this year, we supported each other with patience, kindness, and humor. Looking back, only a few of us will have memories of the fall semester in New York City, September sunshine in the Vanderbilt courtyard, shivering in outdoor seating for the luxury of a coffee with our new friends. Many more of our law school memories will take place online, but these are no less rich as a result. If anything, the caliber of discourse in class was increased by the intensity of looking each classmate in the eye as we've nervously offered our reading of a case or take on a topic. There was a new level of accountability to each other. Instincts to play devil's advocate were tempered by empathy. I hope this care and thoughtfulness stays with us in our careers. Whether you're going to be spending your working life in a courtroom or a firm, legal spaces are not designed to cultivate empathy. When your back is turned to a defendant, or you're far from the individuals affected by your client's industry, it's easy to forget or deny their humanity. Let us resist that urge, remembering what it feels like to look directly into the faces of your peers and be held accountable for your opinions and your actions. Just as we learned to imagine our classmates' lives completely and complexly, let us do the same for our clients as we emerge into our careers. As the spring semester arrived, we fall starters found ourselves in new positions of responsibility. Now the elders of the pack, we were suddenly the source of all law school expertise for our newbie LLM colleagues. Clinic members handed over the baton for ongoing projects. New law review members were shown the ropes. And I imagine each of us have explained at length the mysteries of the COAS's email system to our uninitiated friends. Those of us in New York led pilgrimages to Mighty Bull, Citizens of Bleecker, and the Dosa Cart. And finally, one by one, we traveled to far-flung reaches of the city to get our vaccines. This was an act of moral leadership, choosing to protect our neighbours here in New York City and set an example for our families and communities considering the same decision at home. As one of the people randomly selected to receive my vaccine at NYU, I wore the little purple band-aid supplied to me with as much pride as I wear my gown today. I am hugely grateful and relieved, and I hope everyone overseas can get theirs soon. To our exceptional professors, thank you for offering each LLM student the chance to enrich our lives immeasurably through what we have learned in your classes. An offhand exchange may have prompted one of us to write a paper which leads to a PhD and a shining academic career. A piece of encouragement or friendly word may have pulled one of us up from our worst day. Your belief in us and your willingness to embrace our often non-American perspectives have been appreciated more than you can ever know. To the Office of Graduate Affairs, Office of Career Services, IT department, and everyone else who has been pestered so much by this class, thank you for putting up with us. We all know you're the ones steering the ship here. I hope every time one of us secured a job or an internship, or finally got their NYU VPN to work, you at least got the enormous thanks you deserve. LLM Class of 2021. We made it. We made it through this difficult and scary and often wonderful year. Through our LLM, through to the next steps in our careers and in our lives. NYU School of Law has invested in us, has inspired us, and has endorsed us as the next generation of change-making lawyers. Like the law school, it is our duty to perform in the public interest moving forward. This year has taught us that we can never be 100% prepared for the hazards and vicissitudes of life. But with the strength of character I know us all to have, we can dedicate our lives to protecting others and to doing good fearlessly. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us all. Congratulations.
Thank you. We now welcome our keynote speaker, the Honorable Bridget McCormick, Chief Justice of the Michigan Supreme Court and Class of 1991.
Thank you for the privilege to address you today. I wish I could have done so in person. I would have enjoyed applauding each of you individually as you crossed the stage. But then I should tell you that my in-person graduation from NYU Law School in 1991 at Carnegie Hall was very long. So long that in the middle of it, my dad got bored and went out to 59th Street and bought a hot dog. So pros and cons. We are here to honor all of your hard work and to thank those who helped you along the way. Very few of us accomplish big things without help from friends and family. Someone helped you pull up your boots. To all of those someones, thank you and congratulations to you too. You have all learned a great deal, most of it useful. You've learned to synthesize doctrine, to recognize competing legal rights and interests, to identify legal problems and how to think about solving them. You've learned about the law's limits too. You've learned to think like a lawyer and to talk like one, and one hopes when not to talk like one. You have learned the technical and less technical parts of persuasive legal writing, and you've learned about the historical, political, and economic background against which the law is set and to which it reacts. You have learned that the rule of law is only a set of ideas and that it's fragile, and that it requires our collective confidence in it to survive. And a large percentage of your learning was not done in a physical classroom surrounded by peers, but online, alone, wherever you spent this last 15 months and under significant stress as you and the people you love managed a pandemic. It's remarkable what you have accomplished. I hope you are very proud of yourselves. You should be. And you have done all this against both the legal profession's rapidly changing landscape and at a moment where courts and lawyers are front and center in so many important issues holding the attention of the country. This is an exciting time to be graduating law school. As a result of the pandemic, we have seen more change in the profession in the last 14 months than in my entire career. And at the same time, we are reckoning with questions of race and access to justice more significantly than ever in my career. The combination of these has us at a critical inflection point for the institutions and policies that make up our systems of justice. You see what I mean about an exciting time to get a law degree? Congratulations. In March 2020, courts across the country, expert at resisting change, had to alter everything about what they did, and quickly. All of a sudden, the business model of crowding lots of people into small spaces and having them wait for long periods of time was untenable. And so we stopped doing it. We all pivoted to remote platforms. We streamed proceedings to YouTube so the public had access, and we simplified processes and built new technologies to deliver options to people who needed to access justice. And we learned that for many people, those without time off from work, with transportation barriers, or young children or older parents to take care of, justice was now more accessible for them. The number of people who don't show up to courthouses when served with an eviction notice is very high. The number of people who don't show up when that same hearing is online is very low. Overnight, we learned we could increase access to justice in important ways. Courtrooms and courthouses aren't the only places where justice can be done. Justice can go to people where they live. So many of the changes we have seen were resisted by our profession for many years, only to be picked up and adopted when necessity made the status quo untenable. We made choices then. We're making choices now. This is excellent news for you. You are entering the profession at a time when everything we have always done is up for reconsideration, and you get to reconsider it. And your reconsideration will be ambitious. There is a lot to do, and you're exactly the right people to do it. As you know, while this rapid change in how we work in our justice systems was underway, the country was acutely focused on what work we do and who we do it to. Even before cameras captured vivid images of the murder of George Floyd, there was a groundswell of interest from the public on the carceral policies that have left many of our communities without fathers, without mothers, without sons and daughters, rightfully angry and demanding not just answers, but action. The numbers tell a grim story. The United States incarcerates more of its people per capita than any nation on earth. Our jails, prisons, and other justice system facilities hold 2.3 million of our neighbors. That number has grown 500% in the last 40 years, not because crime has increased, it hasn't, it's gone down, but because laws and policies have changed. People enter US jails more than 10 million times every year, mostly for minor offenses. The story for women is even more troubling. The rate of increase for women behind bars is double that of men, and more than 1 million women are on probation and parole. And people of color are arrested and imprisoned at rates far higher than white people. But the sustained public attention to this set of problems is encouraging. In my home state, Michigan's task force on jail and pretrial incarceration has prompted the passage of 24 new state laws to decriminalize low-level traffic offenses, divert people with behavioral health struggles from the criminal legal system, and many other policies to keep people who don't need to be in jail out of jail. The task force met in many communities around the state and took comments from the public in each place. And while the communities were diverse, the comments were less so. There was deep dissatisfaction with the status quo from people impacted by it, both survivors of crime and those who spent time in jail and prison. One man's testimony has stuck with me. He was both a survivor of a violent crime. His daughter was killed by her husband, and he had spent time in jail himself. His emotional story of his failed attempts to get his family the help they needed before tragedy took over put a very personal face on the policies we have taken for granted for a long time. Jail did not make his family safe or repair their harm. He needed something else. He wanted something else. He begged us to deliver something else. Hurt people, and healed people, heal people. You all get to decide what justice should be. Just because we have always done something one way doesn't mean that is the only way to do it. How we address the human mistakes we make in our legal process is ready for your reconsideration too. Any complex system that is run by human beings is bound to make errors. As I was writing this address, we learned the latest chapter in the Ladell Lee story. Mr. Lee was executed in Arkansas in 2017. He professed his innocence throughout his legal process until his death. And just last week, we learned that another person's DNA is now known to be on the murder weapon. With all the progress that we have made as a result of DNA technology, we are still making tragic mistakes. We know a lot about the causes of wrongful convictions. We have a robust database from which to study those causes. The National Registry of Exoneration details almost 3,000 exonerations since 1989, and yet, where is our risk management strategy? Why does the legal system only address errors in individual cases? I mean, that is where it can. As Mr. Lee's case shows, it sometimes cannot. Why don't we approach miscarriages of justice the way medicine or aviation or even the auto industry address error? Where is the root cause analysis, the recall notice, the new protocols? Imagine a warning label on a product that read, "Mistakes will be made, good luck." we can do better. And right now, with everything up for reconsideration, is the time to think about small and very big ways to do better. Just because we have always done something one way doesn't mean that is the only way to do it. And the civil justice system is ripe for change too. Millions of people come to state courts every year with serious civil legal problems, and most have to manage without lawyers. They are navigating some of the most stressful moments in their lives alone. 7 out of 10 low-income households report at least one civil legal problem in the last year. And in 3 out of 4 civil cases, one side represents themselves. In Detroit, for one example, in eviction cases, more than 80% of landlords have lawyers, while less than 5% of tenants do. Nearly half of tenants never show up to court at all. If they had a legal defense or access to resources, they never found out about it. A lawyer for every person is unlikely to be the solution, but there are lots of possible solutions if we want real change, transformational change. There are other ways to get people the help and the information they need. Arizona and Utah have started experimenting with allowing people other than lawyers to assist with legal problems. We can democratize law if we want to. We've been talking about access to justice my entire career and long before it. Transformational change is needed. Upstream change is needed. Dan Heath starts his new book, Upstream, about solving complex problems with a parable that inspired him to write it. You've probably heard this. He tells it like this: you and a friend are having a picnic on the bank of the river, and you've just laid down your picnic blankets. You're about to have your meal when you hear a shout from the direction of the river. You look back and there's a child thrashing around in the water, apparently drowning. So you both dive in, you fish the child out, you bring them to shore. And just as you're starting to calm down, you hear another shout. You look back, there's a second child splashing around and again, apparently drowning. And so back in you go, you fish them out. And then there are 2 more children who come along right behind. And so begins this kind of revolving door of rescue where you're in and out, fishing kids out, and it's exhausting work. And right about that time, you notice your friend is swimming to the shore and steps out, starts to walk away as though to leave you alone. And you cry out, "Hey, where are you going? I need your help. All these kids are drowning." And your friend says, "I'm going upstream to figure out who's throwing all these kids in the river." Law can be a very downstream business and a very siloed business, but it doesn't have to be. And right now there's an enormous opening for new models, for new collaborations, for you, my newest colleagues, to break through with upstream solutions. Access to justice is not access to courts. It's access to just outcomes, to resources, to solutions. Just because we've always done something one way doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. The law is a powerful tool for addressing the challenges of this moment, but a more powerful tool is you with your new law degree. This is why you came to law school, isn't it? And this law school in particular. Lawyers stick up for the most vulnerable among us. They help people keep their families together in difficult financial times. They exonerate the wrongfully convicted. They hold government to constitutional commitments. You know many stories of selfless lawyers who have changed our country's history, often at a personal cost. In 1963, a young Walter Mondale, Attorney General of Minnesota, organized 24 of his colleagues from around the nation to submit an amicus brief to the United States Supreme Court in support of the right to counsel for an indigent man, Clarence Gideon. And Polly Murray, the first Black woman to earn a doctorate in jurisprudence from Yale, whose groundbreaking 13th and 14th Amendment work led to Brown v. Board of Ed, and whose scholarship became the foundation for extending the Equal Protection Clause to women. Brian Stevenson has changed the way the law thinks about children and punishment. Litigation in individual cases has advanced the cause of justice, to be sure, but it's only one of the tools you all now have in your toolbox. You are also the architects of what justice should mean, of what it should do. You can make different choices about its reach, its limits, its purpose. You can do it together with the people most impacted by it. You're going to do important small things and important big things in courtrooms as policymakers and advocates, as justice system architects. I hope you feel an urgency about all you can accomplish because it's urgent. We need your ideas now, yesterday really. Make the legal process more accessible, more transparent, more fair, and more kind. Where you can't improve it, disrupt it. Lawyers like you are going to play a critical role in solving the long-standing problems inequity has caused throughout our communities. You have the talent, you have the training. You get to decide how we should do things. and what things we should do and what things we should stop doing. You are all about to reconsider our justice system to build one that is not limited by the four walls of a courthouse or the way we have always done things, but one that looks for upstream solutions for people, one that heals. I can't think of anything more hopeful than a class of NYU Law School graduates rolling up their sleeves. As you go, let our congratulations follow you. I'm eager to see what you build. Thank you for letting me be part of your celebration.
Thank you. And now we have some very special messages of congratulations for the class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You made it, and you made it through a lot. I hope you are really proud of yourselves. We are so proud of you here at NYU. I can't wait to see the amazing things you do with your law degrees, and I hope you'll all stay in touch. Congratulations again.
Congratulations for getting through this very unusual and difficult year and being so strong as a group and achieving everything that you achieved.
Congratulations to the remarkable class of 2021. You came to us armed with great talent. Now you're also armed with an NYU law degree. Use those gifts well. God bless you.
Congratulations, class of 2021. I'm so proud of you. Seems like only yesterday that I was actually teaching some of you in your first year of law school in criminal law, and how far you've come. I had the good fortune of glimpsing even then the potential and the passion that you have. And so I'm confident that when you're out there in the world and you're looking at the world, you're going to use your law degree to mean something, to make it matter.
I couldn't be more proud of each of you. And to borrow a phrase, now it's time for you to make your own history. I can't wait to see what you do in your careers. I'm rooting for all of you. Keep in touch and good luck.
Congratulations, people. Please go out and make the world a better place.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. You will always be in our hearts as the class that survived and thrived during the pandemic. And we admire your creativity and your passion and your smarts and your dedication, and are looking forward to all of the extraordinary things that you will accomplish, and hope you will keep in touch with us.
I so admire all you accomplished under very tough circumstances, and so admire the commitment, passion, and dedication that I know will guide you as you venture into the profession. I can't wait to hear about how you'll move the dial in a positive direction.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You have persevered and you have prevailed. I am delighted to have gotten to know so many of you over the years, and I'm very, very proud of you. I look forward to seeing you all in real life soon.
Hello, class of 2021. I know this is not how any of us expected or wanted to send you off, so I enlisted my kids to try to replicate the true experience. I'm not sure it's totally working, but it doesn't diminish your accomplishments this year. You've done amazing things, and you should be incredibly proud of having made it through law school in the midst of a global pandemic with everything that's been going on.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. Sorry that I can't see you in all your glorious outfits. But hopefully, on the other side of this pandemic, I'll see you as total professionals that you all will be very shortly.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed meeting as many of you as I was able to given the circumstances. I think as a group, your achievement is absolutely extraordinary. It's hard to overstate it.
Hi, class of 2021. It was my pleasure teaching some of you in my classes. I really learned a lot from our classes together. Congratulations, and I wish everyone all the best.
I hope you're all extremely proud of yourselves. We are also proud of you. I've seen you do amazing things over the past few years, and I really look forward to seeing all that you accomplish in your careers. Congratulations, good luck, and we're always here for you.
You've made it through, and you've made it through your 3 years in law school. We're all so proud of you, and sure you're going to go out and do great things in the world. Go for it.
You received your education in times of great challenge for this country. So it's no coincidence that our profession, our nation, and the world need you now more than ever. We are all excited to see all the things that you will do in your careers. But take this moment to step back and to celebrate and reflect on your 3 years here at NYU. We wish you the best, and we're excited to see all the contributions that you will make. But again, congratulations on your graduation and your entry into our profession.
Do well in your work.
But also do good
You have more power.
than you may realize.
Use it to help.
Those who have none.
Congratulations, class of 2021. This is the beginning of your new journey. Always remember why you chose law in the first place. Stay true to yourself. Fight for what you believe in, whichever part of the world you're in. And don't be afraid of being extraordinary.
Peace, class of 2021. Derek Bell once advised me to always do what's right over what's easy. Counsel I now share with you. Congratulations on your graduation. The world needs you now more than ever, and we're excited to have you join us in this profession.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You are now automatically part of a family of over 48,000 alumni around the world. We wish you best of luck and much success, and we hope to hear from you and see you soon at a future alumni event.
I am so very proud of you, not just for all you've accomplished, but for who you are as people. The very best thing about being your Dean of Students has been getting to know who you are beyond the label of law student. And so as you set out on this next chapter, I want you to remember to hold on to who you are. Hold on to your passion. Hold on to your light. Hold on to your reason why, your reason for this journey. And know that no matter where you are in this huge world, there will always be a community of support for you here. Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You've managed to make it through law school under conditions that were just unimaginably hard. With this behind you, everything else is going to be easy. The other professors and administrators and I are going to miss you, but we count on you to keep in touch with us and come visit us and to visit us in person. Congratulations.
It is our pleasure to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Master of Laws, Master of Science, Master of Studies in Law, and Juris Doctor. Master of Laws. LLM in Competition, Innovation, and Information Law. Philip Bajanov. Holly Isatulin Ritson. Zachary Shufro. LLM in Corporation Law. Helen Gu. Alexander K. Johannes. Mehul Kumar. Vincent Mayer. Emeka Nduka Ezu. Diane Claude Ngoaje. Ryan Ruan. Lean Ju. LLM in International Business Regulation, Litigation, and Arbitration. Pierre Colette. Laurent Crepeau. LLM in International Legal Studies. Nathaniel Chan. Sai Samrita Damodran. Sharon Geffen. Helen Jennings. Zixia Kong. Young Yul Lee. Kana Muarai. Elise Perry. Mummy Saijo. Sakuya Sato. LLM in Legal Theory. Moksh Sharma. Xuan Ying Risa Tan. LLM in Taxation. Yehuda Alpert. Timothy Luke Azarks. Tim Back. Benjamin L. E. Bailey. Sophia Bakradze. Gabriela A. Batista. Camille Bellinger. Ryan F. Bender. William Lovett Bennett. James W. Boyan III. Ryan D. Brown. Elizabeth Burstein. Robert David Caro. Ryan E. C. Chelf. Lauren Simbel. Christopher Singer Cochran. Brian Andrew Coe, Louis Cusano, Bonnie J. Daniels, Lauren DeHask, Miles Eckhart, Ryan Canopf Fackler, Caitlin C. Fitzsimmons, Cody Gackle, Alexander William Galanos, Matthew Gallagher, Doran J. Gittleman, Jeremy Goldberg, Malka Gross, Rita N. Halabi, Allison Marie Hyman, Laura Hendy, Margaret Maureen Hickey, Ashley Inju Hu, Mark A. Iafrati, Sebastian G. Iagrossi, Timothy P. Igo, Christian Dino Ilievsky, Chan Yang Ji, Trevor J. Johnson, Gansley Joseph, Jack Klug, Jason D. Crass, Brian S. Krastev, Michael E. Lambert, Alexandra Caitlin Lasco, Christopher Anthony Lau, Chu Chiao Lee, Robert Lee, Chris R. Livong Sharon, Chiyu Lee, Shun Liu, Rachel A. Malhyatt, Ali Mariani, Petros G. Markopoulos, Mayra Alejandra Massey, Molly P. McBride, Michael Davis McGill, Thomas McInerney, April M. McLeod, Peter Measy, Simon Michnick, George M. Mixon, Jae-yoon Moon, Michael D. Moritz, Mitchell K. Myers, Joshua Nachman, Crystal C. Niffert, Aaron Elizabeth Norton, Elizabeth O. Wabweze, Ephraim C. Olson, Spencer Pan, Eon Konstantinos Papathopoulos, Gibbon Park, Paisley S. Park, Daniel L. Patterson, Jonathan Perlman, Nicholas Robert Peterson, Alexander Pettengell, Natalia Pirotti, Philip H. Pierre, Alexandra M. Prati, Travis Montgomery Pulliam, Dylan Z. Ray, Jackson M. Reagan, Joseph Alexander Romano, Damian J. Rose, William H. Russell, Matthew W. Scott, Mircea Alexander Skirtu, Kathleen Rose Samansky, Lindsay Sheely, Joshua Shenkar, Alice Rose Sherman, Aidan Shu, Michelle Marie Sisti, Asman Sitaula, Ryan C. Skelly, Ethan Smith, Samantha Smith, Bradley Stewart, Eli B. Sulkin, Audine Zamolin, Sophie Tan, David Michael Walsh, Zachary B. Wywell, Andrew Quinn Wilson, Christopher M. Winters, Bill Shan Wu, Jujing Wu, Ray Shang Shu, Yakov Yusupov, Hannah Lauren Zale, Lena Zhu, LLM in International Taxation, Effie Amaka Delight Anakwe, Executive LLM in Taxation, Elizabeth F. Adams, John Hardy Adams, Dawn Michelle Baca, Kristen Lynn Bailey, Benjamin Black, Alyssa Brender Carr, Zachary David Burley, Vincent Campanaro, Sydney Shande Chiang, Sasha Dawn Collins, Catherine Hart Crane, Emily Ann Donhauer, Kit M. Driscoll, Matthew James Erickson, Robert Erickson, Hannah Fisher Fry, Adam Daniel Friedland, Joseph Gindoff, Abigail Goldglantz, Benjamin Gossels, Arkin Hazra, Jonathan Sidney Jacobson, Camille Jordan, Abraham Klug, Lucas Kudelek, Michael Andrew Lakata, Andrew L. Lawson, Annie Lawson, Hui Nok Lee, Brian A. Liebrick, Tricia Lowe, Daniel B. Maltby, David Herlin Mayer, Andrew Joseph H. Nausida Murcia, Z. Lavender Ning, Jessica B. Palvino, Alyssa Kim Preisler, Michael Rivkin, Rebecca A. Rosen, Ryan Rott, Austin T. Seward, Jack Stringfield, Michael Anthony Warren Tams, Michael J. Tang, Nathan A. Thistle, Jeffrey Chandler Waits, Natalie Waylett, Gina Yu, Liang Zhang, Janan Fei Zilka, Master of Laws, João Paulo Branco de Moraes Andrade, Angelica Chavez Jaime, Ugu Choi, Jiho Chung, Taichi Fukaya, Julius H. F. Henneberg, Victoria Karamane, Kachakorn Krytanyusorn, Yoyosław Korpejewski, Olivier Malherbe, Samantha K. McCluskey, James Gordon Moore, Sean Neefsey, Cassidy O'Sullivan, Vikram J. Pandit, Maxwell S. Pillmore, Rosie Rathal Papier, Zue Shu, Daniel Benjamin Siv, Chi-Yu Wang, Patrick Chu Tsai Zhou, Tianyi Zhou, Master of Science, MS in Cybersecurity, Risk and Strategy, Bolivar Belliard, Nico Boston, Paul James Carpenito, Bindu Chib, Jason Ty Easterly, Deborah Eng, William Fedorich, Jama Figaro, Douglas Gibson, Samir Goyal, Paula Granger, Michael Joyner, Dustin Jones, Vadan Karimli, Brian Austin Kenny, Mary Kraesk, Tien Ong Dave Queck, Michael Patrick Larkin, Joseph Leon, Hue Leo, Michael Mattioli, John Benjamin Mayer, Lee Perla, Victoria Redden, Lamar Thornton, William Timmons, Ricardo Vasquez, Benjamin J. Vos Gardner, Daniel Waltman, Jonathan Waters, James L. Wilkinson, Dustin Williams, Christine Wu, Master of Studies in Law, MSL in Taxation, Han Clary, Lu Jin, Megan Mashal McMillan, Dominic Morgan, Ashraf Arabi, Michelle Rizzo, Lua Din Scarlata, Philip Casey Wong, Norman C. Wright, T.J. Zablocki, Ming-Siu Zhang, Pedro E. Sutara, Juris Doctor, Melissa Abijode, Yariel J. Acevedo, Dean Stephen Atchison, Alexander Reed Addis, Amanda Fisher Adian, Alex Adler, Megan Adler, Naz Akyol, Christopher Weston Allen, Mario A. Alvarez, Elaine M. Anderson, Elena Rodriguez Anderson, Nicholas J. Andriaki, Bridget Ansel, Vaden Anthony North, Jacob Apcon, Anna D. Applebaum, Nicholas Apter Vidler, Matthew R. Armeo, Alexander Lee Arnold, James B. Babb, Rajiv Baga, Zan Balson Sims, Greer Elizabeth Barnes, Jack Thatcher Barnett, Rachel Barron, Daniel B. Baskerville, Michael Bass, Zachary J. Bass, Liza Batkin, Max Baumbach, Hannah Brickner Beatty, Jasmine Benzine, Nicholas A. Bergara, Jessica Berman, Shmuel Bielostowski, Hanks Bird, Benjamin M. Blackwell, Samuel Blakely, Charles Bloom, George E. Bogdan, Samuel Wazard, Laurel Bowman, Sammy Basilovich, Rebecca Boulos, Sasha W. Boutillier, Colin Bradley, T. Jackson Brake, Aviv Bridge, Karen Brill, William Bristow, Zachary Broner, Alexander J. Brooks, Julia K. Brooks, Molly K. Brosman, Eric C. Brown, Paul A. Brudnick, David N. Brunk, Tatiana Brunval, Terry James Buck, Dominic Budidi, Jillian Burke, Amanda Gonzalez Burton, Victoria Byler, Elizabeth Campbell, Mark C. Caneas, Paul Winston Kange, Allison Caramico, Cassie Carley, Emma Carlin, Samuel C. Kerrigan, Catherine Kazis, Andrea Sacocci, Yuna Carly Cha, Inbit Chang, Frances Margaret Mathis Chapman, Lu Xiao Chen, Thomas C. Chen, Yao Chen, Yi Chung Chen, Neil Chithrao, Unji Lenzi Cho, Magdalena Christoforou, Jessica Christie, Maral Arslanian Clay, Jacqueline Cloutier, Paulina Eliza Cohen, Edwin Christian Colin, William Twyman Comfort, Ariane Chelsea Connell, Alex S. Connolly, Patrick Corcoran, John Bernard Corgan, Sienna Cornicini, Clara Correa, William E. Coughlin, Marissa Crook, Giannina M. Crosby, Lucas Quattrocasas, Alex Kubaleski, Jack Culhane, J. Sizer Cullen, Sean Cunningham, Anna D'Agostino, Gina Francesca D'Agostino, James DeBoer, Michael DeCotis, Allison DeYoung, Fabiola Delgado Cruz, Jack Darowitz, Patrick R. DeRocher, Mickey DeRusso, Joseph Matthew DiPietro, Eugenie H. Dubin, Sam Dunkel, Joanne Dynack, Lana Blaze Zykonski, Spencer Easterbrook, Gabriel Eisenberger, Edward Eisenman, Rachel T. Ellman, Sarah A. Emmerich, Henry Engelstein, Amanda Herzog Estevez, Amanda Xinwu Fang, Marie Fang, Jacob Fargo, Danny Fine, Edward N. Fenster, Laura A. Figueroa, Rachel Carson Flaraman, Christina Folds, Daniel T. Folsom, Jackson Frazier, Jordan Beth Freisleben, Alexander Frey, Rafi Friedman, Natalie Gagarkina, Rachel Gallagher, Amy Garland, Amanda Sage Gavkovich, Kelsey Gedden, Adam George, Ishani Ghosh, Zoe Scruton Glick, Alexander Glossman, Stephen J. Gobbs, Abhilasha Gokulan, Elizabeth Gold, Eli Goldman, Paul M. Goodrich, Jessica D. Graber, Hannah Grace, Timothy D. Graff, Noelia Gravoda, Scott Greenberg, Philip Oscar Goy Greenfield, Kiana Grimes, Claire Groden, Catherine Gunderson, Jadika Gupta, Rebecca Gutterman, Chongwon Ha, Zachary D. Had, Eli Hadley, Chang Han, Caitlin Hall Swan, Tom Howe, Nicholas M. Harnick, Benjamin J. Hartman, Julia Harvey, Byron J. Hazard, Tsing Hua, Lily Orr Hecht, Shlomit Hila Hearing, Garrett Heller, Anthony R. Hayroth, Leah Higgins, Naughton E. Hirsch, Nicholas E. Hirschfeld, Emily R. Hodgkins, Benjamin S. Howard, Albert Huber, Chad S. Hughes, Chukwumeka Michael Ilebunam, Nicholas J. Isaacson, Samuel A. Eisen, Santana Jackson, Jeremy C. Jacobson, Shin-Chi Ji, Leon Jiang, Reese A. Johnson, Cameron Johnston, Titus Gabega, Yuvin Kong, Michael I. Coleman, Ashley Kang, Emily Bing Kaplan, Isaac J. Kaplan, Jason D. Kaplan, Samantha Kaplan, Gabrielle Kasher, Douglas J. Kelly, Maggie Kiley, Jeffrey Kim, Kyung Bae Kim, Michael W. Kim, Peter Kirby, Nora E. Kirk, Jesse H. Kirkland, Robert Klein, Aliana Knopfler, Madison Koenig, Ina Kosova, Jace D. Krakovitz, Dylan Kraus, Aisha Kraus-Lee, Zachary Crooks, Timothy G. Kruger, Anastasia Kryakova, Natalie DaCosta Kupfer, Zachary A. Landau, Jennifer Lang, Alexander Langer, Estefania Loriano Mena, Erin M. Lawrence, Emily R. Lazaroff, Michael Lazarus, Erin Jacqueline Labens, Dorian Ledbetter, Cynthia Lee, Daniel Lee, Daniel T. Lee, Kristen Lee, Ted T. Lee, Vera T. Lee, Eugene Lee, Nicholas C. Lee Wunderlich, Tian Chi Lei, Yu Yao Leng, Adrian Lev Guerra, Pia Levin, Jessica Lee, Shirley Lee, Kian Yu Lee, Delon Lyer, Alexander R. Liguori, Zoe Hannah Lillian, Ethan Lin, Suna Lin, Eliezer Lipnick, Augustus Longer, Anna Lopez, Sophia Lopez Franco, Nina Patrice Loshkajian, Claire Lowinger Iverson, Yuen Chen Liu, Alex Michael Lupsau, Alexandra Lass, Timothy Lyons, Catherine McAdam, Peter Mactiger, Tia Madonis, Gia Marciano, Rachel Dreyfus Marmont, Rachel Margolis, Max Markham, Corunna Martin, Francesca Masella, Javante Mason, Zachary Mason, Seth Massey, Katie Matejek, Haley May, Tom McBrien, Francis C. McDonald, Ryan McLeod, Kate McMurchie, Safina Layla Mechlai, Harshal D. Mehta, Marcello Marielis Leo de Barros, Adrian Melendez Cooper, Nicholas M. Mendez, Hannah C. Maripol, Jared F. Metzger, Morgan Meyer, Hillary Mira Myers, Ehab Makati, Antonia Miller, Ben Mills, Michael Austin Mylov Cordoba, Brent E. Mitchell, Arjun Mochurla, Carlos G. Montalvan, Pauline Morgan, Bianca Morris, Samantha Ashley Morris, Shivani Isabel Morrison, Adriana Morton, Joshua B. Moses, David C. Moss, Tully Moyer, Matthew Murzik, Isabella M. Munkin, Mariana Munara, Albert Mirzakhanov, Anna T. Nassif, Michael S. Naughton, Chelsea Nelson, Ashley Otelia Nemeth, Marini Nevitt, Alexander Newton, Nora A. Niazion, Matt Nussbaum, Mina Roldan Oberdick, Sean C. O'Brien, Hope Beckett O'Leary, Nicole Oliver, Kara Ortiz, Carmen Oti, Hao Kai Pai, Bridget Caitlin Pals, Rebecca Papilski, Julia E. Parinyuk, J.C. Elon Parker, Eric Pesci, Caitlin Eve Peltz, Michaela Summer Pepe Lewis, Naomi Perla, Justin Alexander Piroff, Matthew A. Peterson, Tova Wolowitz Pfeffer, Carl Pielmeyer, Anthony Peruza, Joshua Pitkoff, John Luke Pisado, Austin Poon, Raphael Andrew Pope Sussman, Jaden Montana Powell, James E. Power, Sylvia M. Precht Rodriguez, Stephen J. Profeta, Kevin Chow, Joseph H. Rubinovitz, Yulia Racheva, Nitika Raina, Josephine Ramsair, David Rapp Kirschner, Aaron P. Ratoff, Adam Burke Ray, Patrick Reed, Dylan Reisman, Eric Francis Richardson, Zoe Rodolphe Starr, Rachel Rigel Haupt, Naomi Reamer, Joseph A. Raposta, Andreas Rivero, Aaron Robino, Kiana M. Robinson, Jordan Rose, Deanna Youngwis Rosen, Elias Rosenblatt, Mia Brill Rosenblum, Justin S. Rosinski, Charlotte C. Rothschild, Tamar K. Rothstein, Matthew Rublin, Cameron Elizabeth Ruffa, Min Ryu, Eleuthera Overton Saw, Robin Saad, Catherine Sachs, Ariana Tholahi, Ashley J. Samlut, Shrivats Sanganaria, Allison Sharfstein, Joshua L. Schechter, J. D. Shiner, Gabriella Crawford Schneider, Naka Lee Schultz. Casey Sivright, Sumin Saw, Sonali Seth, Benjamin Shack Sackler, Stephanie M. Schaefer, Sidra Shaw, Michelle R. Shamulian, Franklin Y. Shen, Chris Shenton, Elizabeth Hope Sheriff, Lucy P. Silver, Justin Philip Silverberg, David Simpser, Shia Slomovics, Catherine Smith, Andrea H. So, Andrew John Saboedo, Daniel Solecki, Helen Emily Sprainer, Jonathan Spratley, Bailey Springer, Keith R. Stackhouse, Andrew Stambolidis, Jonathan Steinberg, Ross Steinberg, Jeanette Sternberg Lamb, Zachary T. Stone, Victoria Mamie Stringfellow, Michael A. Struther, Karis Stubblefield, Emily J. Sun, Adam P. Tan, Serena Marie Taylor, Nick Telecki, Jessica Belen Tenaglia, Alex Tepler, Sky V. Terraby, Chanel Thomas, Jennifer Thompson, Juan Diego Di Baduisa Chavarro, Shelby Tropio, Daniela Ugaz, Ashley C. Ulrich, Hannah Umansky Castro, Jacqueline Uranga, Constantine A. Valetas, Andrew M. Van Dyne, John Y. Weitzlamline, Gabrielle Chasen Velks, Charlotte Verdon, Jordan Virilli, Seema Vithlani, Jeffrey P. Waldron, Celine Yang Wang, Lucian Wang, Melissa Wang, Serena Warner, Sarah Charmand Wattar, David Elliott Wexler, Elon Weinberger, Abigail Weiss, Mark S. Weiss, Jesse Weissman, Lauren Michelle Wilfong, Elizabeth Christine Williams, Benjamin Scott Winter, Carrie Wolk, Tiffany Wong, Ryan Woods, Scott J. Woods, Eric T. Woodward, Naomi Wasson, David E. Wright, Stephanie K. Wuncher, Bao Yu Xing, Christine Shu, Ahmad Yakut, Hana Yamahiro, Hannah Jiang Yang, Jarrett Yang, Jong In Yoon, Michael Yoon, Yirin Yu, Jacqueline Zachariadis, Ithamar D. Zachary, Ben Zhang, Taylor E. S. Zarth, Catherine Zheng, Sheng Chung, Tianlong Chung, Karen Zwickle.
Class of 2021, you have done it. Congratulations again from all of us. We are so tremendously proud of all of your accomplishments. We look forward to staying in touch with you going forward and to watching all that you will do.